Living in wonder, which is our theme today, is not just a phrase, it's a way of life. It's a consciousness. I want to read to you, it's the 1 Minute Wisdom. I've lost this book for so many years and it just fell out of someplace. And I looked up and it has a little thing on wonder, little insight, a little, it's less than a minute, it's about 20 seconds, but it's good. The spiritual master who lived at the outskirts of the town was said to perform miracles. His home was a center of pilgrimage for large crowds of sick people. The master, who was known to be quite uninterested in the miraculous, would never reply to questions about the spiritual healer. When asked point blank why he was opposed to miracles, he replied, "How can one be opposed to what is taking place before one's eyes each and every moment of every day?" That's a miracle-minded man and woman. That's what we have with miracle-mindedness. I mean, it was Albert Einstein who said, there's only two ways to look at the world. One, as if nothing is a miracle. Nothing. And the second, as if everything's a miracle. And I had to put that in, well, how do we get there? And it was Meister Eckhart, and this quote of his sticks with me all the time. The soul has two faces. Two faces. One is gazing down at the earth and the body and the five senses. And the other is gazing up at God. And for me, it's our physical eyes that are gazing down at the physical world, and we can get distracted by that, but we have to keep our inner eyes awake and aware to see that Spirit is always at work no matter what is going on in our life. No matter what is going on. If we wake up in the morning and just realize everything here that we can see came from nothing. It's a miracle in the making, everything. Everything is a miracle in the making. And Rabbi Heschel said we need to really practice radical amazement all the time. We need to live in that consciousness of radical amazement. Let me see if I can read how he defined it. And then if not, I'll just define it myself. Well, I write all this down and then I can't even find any of it because it just comes out. But anyway, radical amazement is when we live in that place of knowing, this world is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. He said, if we could just wake up like that, it's to be spiritual, he said, is truly to be amazed. I used to be a little bit embarrassed to call ourselves religious scientists because I didn't think people could really understand what that meant. Religious scientist, what does that mean? Well, Dr. Jim sent me something from the New York Times this week, Talking God with a Theoretical Physicist. And this guy is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. His name is Frank Wilczek, and he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and I think it was 2004. But he just, in May of 2022, he won a prize, I can't remember what it is, but it's some big prize, for all his studies on spiritual realities and how they coincide with science. And he said in his article, when he was asked about God, he said, well, there's a distinction between curiosity and wonder. Curiosity is an intellectual outlook, but wonder suggests there is something in your soul that compels you to know more about the world around you and within you. It is, I believe, he said, this is his belief about life. The whole world is sacred, and we should take a reverential attitude toward everything. That's what it means to be a religious scientist. How perfect. It's coming out in the newspaper, so I like that. But we get to practice what we know and teach now. So if we're going to be living in wonder, which I think when we sing, I don't know about the rest of you, but when we sing on holy ground at Easter, it breaks me open because the truth of it is so real and powerful. But we get caught up. If we don't have our inner eyes clear and clean and we don't practice seeing with them, we can get caught up in wonder. But it's a different kind of wonder. It's the wonder that says, I wonder what shoe's going to drop next. You know, it's that way we look at the world, expecting things not so good to happen because they've happened before. Forgetting there's always something more at work. The other way to look at the world, and this is what Rainier Maria Rilke. Why does he have two R's? It confuses me. But he says, well, to live in the question, I wonder what's next. I wonder what God has in store for me today. Because remember, this is a day the Lord has made, that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, because every single moment is new. There's never anything that's exactly the same. And we forget that, and we start repeating. We become the habitual livers that keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something new. And what did Albert Einstein say about that? That's insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something new. So you and I need to do the work to go within and clear out those spiritual eyes, because when we, inside of us, is this piece of spirit, this ray, it's like a ray of light that's been shot through a lake right into our heart. And it's right here, and we need to clean those spiritual eyes so we can see that something wonderful is happening right now. That there's more love beyond what we know, something even greater than we know, and a freedom right now where we can open our minds. Our work is we have to unclutter our minds and hearts from all the stuff we put in there. What's weighting you down right now? What's weighting you down? What is it that could lift you up into a greater thought? Because there's something wonderful right around the corner, right there for all of us. I just found Rabbi Heschel's Radical Amazement. It was right before my eyes, and I didn't see it because I hadn't cleaned my inner eyes yet. So here it is. Our goal should be to live in radical amazement. Get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Nothing for granted. Being appreciation of all things. I know it's hard with the blessing and the burdens, but everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. Never treat life casually. You know, Ernest Holmes said, what would it be like? You know, he talked about, before he would go in to speak, he would wrap his arms around the entire room and love everybody, give everybody a virtual hug. But he also said, what would it be like if we asked our children, our little children, to put their hands across their heart and say, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me, wonderful me. I'm wonderful, just as you said, Reverend Sage, in your reading today, children with a shelter, we all need a shelter. You know, we all need something to know. So let's do that together, because that little child within, put your hands across your heart right now. Because this is a time to be wonderful people. This is a time to accept it. Be like a kid. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Again, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. One more time. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. I don't want to take my hands away because it feels so safe and good to hold that and know that there is that part of us that knows the truth. And no matter what's going on in our life, there's something more that wants to be revealed. It's not enough for us, of course, just to live in the thought of it's a wonderful world. We have to be participators. We have to be active. Life is activity. And even though we say, be still and know that I am God. Life is activity, because God speaks to our feelings, so it has to be the knowledge of our heart that knows how wonderful life really is. So we have to wake up and get our heart active in all of that and be open to something more. So I'm going to ask you in this moment just to put your feet on the ground, and I'm just going to ask you to do a little clearing away from me so we can shed any of the clutter of all that's going on in the world today. Just as I read in that beautiful article that Bill Kramer sent, we have to do what we can do first and foremost for ourselves, to get ourselves settled in bringing spirit to be activated within ourselves. to open ourselves, open ourselves to something wonderful. Just let that amazement of how our body is working right now, everything in our body working in harmony for our good. And when we get out of alignment, it calls to us to put us back in the order of things, put us back in unity with all things working together for good. And as we allow ourselves to be amazed just at the workings of ourselves, we can open our eyes to see the world in a new way. Where are we called to spread our light and spread our love and spread our goodness right here and now? Prayers, love, goodness. Just breathe in and feel all the radical appreciation for the body that houses our soul and how it works together and how we come together in that unity and that goodness of life. I was reading, and then take a breath and come back. I was reading, but this is a rules for life. Do you want to hear rules for life? We'll be here for about 3 days. But just 4 lines from Angeles Arian, and she's passed, but a 20th century anthropologist. And she said just 4 rules. Show up. Be present where you are. Pay attention. Don't pretend you're here and be somewhere else. I mean, how many times do we do that? We show up when we're really thinking about what we need to do or where we've been or something else. Show up, pay attention, tell the truth to yourself and to others. What's going on? Tell the truth. And don't be attached to the outcome. Then we can live in wonder. If we allow ourselves to live like that, then we're going to make new choices about life. When we become spiritual, we start making choices in a different way. Instead of saying, well, okay, what's in this for me? What do I get physically out of this? We start asking the questions. Is this choice in alignment with truth and wonder, happiness and health, love and goodness? And if it is, it's the right choice. We get to do that. If we are in alignment with making the choices that are good for ourselves and for other people. So when we get ourselves in that place, when we're getting in alignment, getting in alignment with life, and it's our heart knowledge. The Irish poet, which is also John O'Donohue, God cannot catch us unless we stay in the sacred room of our hearts. Sacred room of our hearts. So how do we get to that place? Well, Angeles Arian said something else. She said, part of awakening our hearts is awakening our bodies. And she said, when we dance, we touch the essence of who we are and the unity between spirit and matter. Think about Helen Keller, who said the most beautiful and sacred things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They have to be felt with the heart. They have to be felt with the heart. So I think what I would ask of us today is to really check the condition of our heart. Where are you? Are you able to really step into the place of wonder no matter what's going on in the world? Kids can do that. Kids forget. Kids leave things behind and go into the newness of life. And that's why Ernest Holmes was talking about wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me for our kids, because they can do that. If they've had bad experience, they can go right into that. Can we do the same thing? The Sufi mystic Hafez talks about that childlike wonder too, which Ernest Holmes talks about so much, living in that childlike wonder. And he says, God only knows 4 words. God just knows 4 words. And this is what kids say. Every child has known God. Not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, not the God who ever does anything weird, but the God who keeps repeating, come dance with me. Remember, I'm here. Come dance with me. I want you to be my partner. We can do this together. There's nothing that stops us. So my wish for you today is you say, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Oh, you heard it because it's loud. It's good. Your eyes are open. We're going to be participating. As hard as the life gets sometimes, as heavy as the burdens get, as dark as the troubles, there's goodness. that wants us to participate. So my words for you today, just in closing. You guys, I need you. What are they doing back there? I'm not sure. I hope you choose. I hope you choose right now to step up, to show up, to pay attention, to tell the truth, and to dance with your heart wide open. And so it is.